In health news, sheriff's officials in Rainsville, Alabama say they've busted an illegal winery that was operating in the town's municipal sewage plant. Aside from the hygienic concerns, Sheriff Ralphus Conrad offered some scathing criticism to attending reporters and stating, "As far as flavor profiles go, most of the finishes here were pretty shitty." Well, if you wanted honesty, you have come to the wrong place. Cunnilingus and cum dumpstery. Yes, that is what we're at here.
Ooh, I love it.
It is not cola, it is cock. Coca-Cola.
Time to whip it out and start cooking.
The power of the mic compels you.
Much like cock, I need one. And at this point, you can smell the Caucasian through your speakers. You're screamed and I screamed. I think I missed half of the references, but I understood the point.
Dim-witted dunderfuck. This is the Disinformed podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Courtney.
And we are thrilled to have you all back for another week down in the trenches where we discuss our Dark Lord, Satan.
To borrow from you, Dr. Satan! Dr. Satan!
Just watch Dwight Schrute get skinned later on in the episode. It'll be good for all involved parties.
We did talk about how House of Thousand Corpses kind of aged well, right?
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, I
really
think we talked
do.
about that in October, but
We did, yes.
Courtney, you love horror movies.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you've
I've seen
definitely
all of them.
that.
Every single one.
But in all seriousness, you have a very low threshold for spooky movies, don't you?
Yeah, I don't do spooky. I blame that on my upbringing. I'm afraid of all things that are evil.
Yeah, I
Well,
think... Oh, go ahead.
if you watch After Dark more frequently, you'll see the scary movie that takes place in John's little recording studio there every week.
Yeah, indeed.
All the creatures that manifest behind him in that glorious doorway to hell.
I left the window open just for you fucks.
Oh,
Bless you.
Thank you.
Felt weird last week having it closed.
I'm gonna see if I can send you guys something on the
Uh-oh,
group.
she's taking my mantle.
Oh no. When I
Let
said
me
that you
see.
could, if he tunes out, you can, take over for him, I didn't actually mean like his bad habits.
So, Courtney, I'm going to do a quick interview with you while you're prepping that as well. How
Yes.
does it feel to be the Robin Quivers on the next Weird Howard Stern edition?
Well, it is a dream of mine. This is like the equivalent of winning an Academy Award. Yeah,
Pretending
that's
to
all I have
find
to
us
say.
funny?
Well, now that you have 18 people that listen to what you have to say,
Oh, 18.
well, how do you feel? Well, it's just that's early. That's probably within the first minute of the episode. But
Oh,
as we know,
okay.
our numbers are kind of gargantuan.
Right.
It spreads like a virus.
Spreads like Tanuki's balls.
Oh.
I showed Becky pictures.
Don't tell us. I don't need to know. Keep your French bedroom farce to yourself, sir. I don't need any more of this.
Showed her pictures of the
Stop.
Tanuki scrote. And I didn't give her any context.
Oh, good.
It was great to get her reaction, because first she saw the cute picture, like the winter
Yes, so
Tanuki.
fluffy.
And then I showed her the scrote, and it just lost all of the mystical wonder. It was like when we were first dating, and I made her watch Tusk, and she thought it was about somebody magically being turned into a walrus, like by magic, not brutally being dismembered into a walrus.
Oh.
Which,
I
hey,
feel like this
that reminds
is
me, we should watch Tusk together, Courtney.
Will it make me sad?
Yeah, oh yes, it will.
Could you please stop propositioning the co-host?
You know what's
Sorry.
funny is I think I would watch more scary movies if people would watch them with me. Jonah is literally the worst person alive to watch things with, where he's just like, ew, no, get off me. Stop being scared. And I'm like,
really? So
no,
porn's out.
I need to be under like 7 pillows and watching between my fingers, and then I can kind of get through it.
Yeah, Jonah played Dead by Daylight with me a few times, and our schedules don't really line up that well. But I remember hearing you in the background, like just in that game to me is not like, it's like a 0.5 of 10 on
Oh,
scary
no.
meter. And you're in the background, it's like, oh, what is that? Oh God. Oh no. Oh, he's after you.
Yep, that's about right.
Did you find what you were looking for?
Yeah, I sent it to the Facebook Messenger
In-
group chat
John
for
will
you
appreciate
dinosaurs.
In the immortal words of Bono, I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Oh.
somebody's doing pulling a little stocky on a Mr. John.
Oh wait, we could definitely play that on the After Dark if you want to see it.
No,
I mean, it's your house, so it's your call.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, that's terrifying. I will say those cookies were amazing.
Is there heavy breathing in the background, or?
Yeah, there is, and in fact,
Okay.
I'm there right now. This is not where I am.
Oh, even better. You've got great Wi-Fi.
I do.
Yeah,
Seamless.
truly.
2012 Kia Soul energy, you know? You gotta...
All of a sudden, the background of John's headphones, he's just hearing, kill, 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 what?
I mean,
Well-
it's been a week, so if I started hearing voices, I think it'd be appropriate.
It is fun to note this is going to be our happy holiday edition of this fun little podcast,
Oh, it
but
sure
this will be
is.
coming out post-Christmas. So, we'll just throw everybody into the time warp with us, but we have still yet to celebrate Festivus for the rest of us. And we're going to do so in the most Christian way possible this evening. Mr. Michael, what will we be talking about?
So, I figured it was my turn behind the wheel of a topic on Satanism. However, as I am a hack and a frog.
Oh, this is
already-
off to
it's-
a beautiful fucking start.
As I am
I get such confidence before we hit roll, too.
I'm so upset because I even read through this like about
is
an hour and a half
you were-
ago just to make sure I was prepared for it. And
You
then
gave yourself the mirror speech like you did the taxi driver monologue while rehearsing.
Can we get a
Fucking nerd.
master cut of you just saying I'm a frog over and over and
no,
over?
no.
The Snyder
This is
Cut?
the new Pixar film will be coming out this year, The Hack and the Frog.
My dear Michael.
I am a hack and a fraud. With people assuming that I am a physicist. People have done that, and I always correct them. I am not. I figure I would cover what people assume to be the most important event in satanic history, but it contains no Satanism at all. I am covering the 80s satanic panic.
No, I already did that
Today.
last week.
You
Yeah, it was really informative,
started
too.
to.
Is this also referred to as satanic ritual abuse syndrome?
Yes, satanic ritual abuse. Yes, that is the official name for it.
So
But
if we hearken back to, previous iterations of this podcast, they do go very heavy with rituals in LaVeyan Satanism. So technically, there is some thread of Satanism here. It just goes a little far afield of reality.
yes.
As we all too often do, because for those of you who are not initiated, I'm stepping on
Ooh,
your
no,
attempt
you're
at getting
good.
back into the
Man, there's
conversation.
some
Go for it.
sharp fucking
What we
segues tonight,
use-
boys and girl.
What we usually do here on this flippant little podcast is we will delve into a random esoteric topic, and over the course of explaining it to one another, we will leaven in the occasional lie just to keep things interesting, and it is incumbent upon all of us listening here live in the room to scream posse or interloper when we notice a lie, in the hopes that we will gain no points and win nothing but accreditation and bragging rights amongst our friends and neighbors, because everyone down the street is really excited whenever I tell them that I got the lie from last week's episode.
Do you actually go door to door?
I do. I have inverted nipples now, much like a Jehovah's Witness. How many times they're like, how many times I told you to get off my porch?
And you wear your mask, though, because you're responsible?
I do. It's the Shatner Michael Myers mask.
Okay.
So always just want to make sure I keep all the germs to myself.
Fantastic.
It's fair.
The gift
Yeah,
that keeps
yeah.
on giving.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Michael, you were saying about the things you're going to elucidate for us about Satanic Panic.
Yeah, thanks,
Yes.
Courtney.
So I can tell you guys that there will be a lot of parallels between my topic today and a topic that I covered a few months back, QAnon.
Oh, good. I was going to say, if you say heavy water, I'm going to strangle you to death with your own, headphone cord.
I have his
I would
address. I'll send
never-
it to you.
Not gonna lie,
I would never do
I
that.
blacked that episode out still. I know I've already said that before, but I can authentically not remember a single moment from that episode, and I don't ever want to hit play on that ever again.
That's
don't blame me.
fair. So it's kind of related. There are parallels between this today and QAnon in that the ravings of a few mentally touched individuals succeeded in creating a panic that swept through the country that left more than a few lives changed for the worse.
We prefer the term neurodivergent.
Also, I will not sit here and let you impugn the GOP like that.
Big oof. So the satanic ritual abuse panic in the 80s was not new. It was just a moral panic with a different target, if you will. It's time for a quick list of past historical moral panics.
Hold the fuck on.
We
Do you
just
have
started.
lies in here?
Yes. Sorry, there are 2 lies.
Thank
Just
you.
2.
Now onward with your
Go.
list.
Yes.
This is too aggressive up front, Michael. What are you doing?
Oh, this is going to be a little bit more aggressive. We start with the most famous other of our time. The Hebrews were accused of performing a blood libel. But yes, I might cut that.
I'm fairly certain.
Oh,
Just
no.
color me suspicious. I thought he was speaking English because I recognized at least 1 or 2 of the words there, but as we've, qualified, his emphasis is not always the best.
Well, he's a frog, so.
I
Yes.
am a frog.
Oui,
Ribbit.
Also, I would argue that you have kept in so much shit that both Shane and I have asked you
Fine.
to
Fine.
eradicate from an episode. You don't
Oh
get
my
to,
goodness.
just because,
Fine.
yeah.
Okay.
You gotta play it
Anyway.
as it lies. I had to take that shot of a Frankenstein's fat foot.
The
Don't go
Hebrews
snoozing on the Hebrews, sir.
were accused of performing a blood libel by a Greco-Egyptian author by the name of Apion in 30 AD or 30 CE, to all you fancy folks.
I'm gonna run out of drink.
Now, what is a blood libel, you may ask?
Indeed.
Yes. Apion
I like the Coen brothers as much as anybody. I do.
I don't get the reference, but I think I understand the point. I need to co-opt that. I feel like he stole it from me even if I didn't say it. Pion described it as a sort of event where members of a local Jewish community remove a nearby non-Jewish leader from power by murdering a young child and framing the leader for the murder, usually done by leaving the blood of the child somewhere on the leader's property. This was usually done to keep the non-Jewish communities fighting each other and to leave the Jewish communities alone. This isn't true, obviously, but this is what the author said, right? So it started a moral panic, right? Blood libels were not confined to just the classical era. Blood libels were frequently the justification for mob executions. Yes, and eventually led to all Jewish people being expelled from all of England for almost 400 years, from 1290 to 1657.
I think Shane wants to call bullshit on that.
As far as I'm aware, that is true. Of course, it's not like they can go through and like kick people out specifically, but it was an official capacity to where people of Jewish descent were not allowed to enter or leave, or were not allowed to live or reside in England.
So they just rolled into synagogues with scythes and started poking people out of the country?
Say get now.
Yes. I mean, they did that in Spain as well with the whole Spanish Inquisition. So
And so instead of the rabbit-proof fence, they just got up, the Hebrew-proof fence around the country.
mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a question.
Then, yes.
Yeah, I'm not so great at physics, but which part of that was a list?
I'm not done yet. That was just one piece.
Oh, that was 1A.
Yeah,
Yes.
This is part D here.
I want to do a little bit more detail on that because I didn't know what blood libel was, but the other ones are very brief.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yes. There was the general persecution of Christians by Romans.
Genital persecution?
I said general. I said general.
You've got a cock. Get out of here.
You know what this Shane, I don't know why I didn't see that. Oh, good, you guys are drinking. I didn't see this before, but Michael and Shane's relationship reminds me of my grandparents on my my mom's side. Like, you guys argue almost identically to how they used to argue because it's like really small potatoes, and like how you are. I said general. Genital? No, I said general.
That's
what we sound like.
adorable.
Yeah.
So
Listen,
cute.
I can't hear him. I have an ear infection, so I just have to clarify.
He has
Lest
a
people
name.
be poked out of the country by penises.
I think that's Michael's wet dream.
If only.
Poked by penises. The Michael Clark story.
Hashtag poked by penises.
A lot of chapters in that autobiography.
Oh my goodness.
Touched by an angel.
Cucked by God, poked by a penis. Let's almost start finding alliterations for it.
Flip that.
I think, cucked by God, touched by an angel is pretty.
That's also really good.
Yeah. The Mary Magdalene story, apparently. This is the Christmas episode. We got to get that in from time to time. Because Joseph sure didn't.
Ooh.
Oh,
Hit F.
rip. Yeah. Big F. Oh, poor guy. These early Christians were accused of cannibalism and incest, which was most likely due to misunderstanding the blood and body of Christ and referring to each other as brothers and sisters.
Okay. I'm
Yes.
calling bullshit on that just because it makes too much sense.
Nope. Of course, it was a Wikipedia article that I got it from. But it said it with decent confidence.
We were gonna have to check your sources on that one.
I have all the sources listed. They are all Wikipedia. So
It's all Wikipedia. My name's
Yes,
Michael.
yes. All Wikipedia. Obviously, we have the witch hunts of the 16th and 17th centuries.
Well,
so
obviously.
Which
yes.
witch hunts?
The witch. That
Most
sandwich
of my
shop.
family.
Yeah.
Yes. In more modern times, we have the first Red Scare following the Russian Revolution right during World War I.
The Red Scare is what John had after banging that girl a couple of years ago.
You make jokes. You make jokes.
It's not going to
scarred
fall
by
off, is it?
Just like the Second World War is more remembered than the first, the second Red Scare, aka McCarthyism, is also accused a lot of left-leaning groups, cough cough Hollywood, of being communist. Around this time, and also involving McCarthy, was the Lavender Scare, which I didn't know until a couple of weeks ago. Given the color, could you guess what minority group was being targeted?
I feel like this is a game show I don't want to play.
I could make a joke, but you'd have to cut it. So
That's fine, do it.
Also, I feel like this is a bait because there's no way that that's real.
It is real.
Fuck off.
I mean, the African skin tone is the only one that lilac and lavender looks good on. So I'm just gonna throw that out.
So you have to just say it because if we're guessing, that makes it more
Okay.
racist.
Yeah, that's fair. To quote the possibly closeted McCarthy during an announcement to reporters, if you want to be against McCarthy, I'm going to say that again.
Jesus Christ.
If you want to be against McCarthy, it's McCarthy. Guys,
It's getting
gotta
better.
go-
You got this. Keep going, buddy.
Miss Carthy? Who's Miss Carthy?
If you want to be against McCarthy, boys, you've got to be either a communist or a cocksucker.
Ooh.
Okay.
So there you go.
But what if you're both?
Yeah.
Then you're Lee Harvey
Well,
Oswald.
it cancels out.
Oh.
Yes.
It's- I mean, we should really be excited by this, though, because heretofore, Michael has thought the Red Scare was a Beatles album, what with the Lennon and McCarthy here.
No, I thought it was the Red Album, right? Sorry, that was bad. That was really
All
bad.
right, thanks for tuning in today, guys. My name is John.
Yes.
Hi,
Okay.
this is my podcast now. I'm Courtney.
Okay, well, that was pretty much the list. I just wanted to say that. So, what caused this particular round of panic that we're covering today?
Your
What was
mother,
it?
Trebek.
Well, it was a couple of things, but we'll start with the book Michelle Remembers. Okay, I'm just gonna jump into that.
All right.
Oh,
then.
I know this
All right.
one.
You do? You know of the book?
Yes.
Oh,
It was written by the First Lady of our nation. I mean,
Honky, that's racist.
Actually, it's that's John's pen name.
Yeah.
honky. The satanic ritual abuse started with the book Michelle Remembers. It was co-written in 1980 by Canadian psychiatrist Lawrence Pasder and his psychiatric patient and eventual wife, Michelle Smith. It chronicles Pasder's therapy during the late 70s with his longtime patient Smith, starting in 1973 in Victoria, British Columbia, which was why I got very concerned when you started talking about Canada when you were leading into that lie with last week's episode, Courtney.
You make that sound as though it was not intentional on her part to
I was
give you
trying to
pause.
hurt you, buddy.
I didn't know that she figured that the satanic ritual abuse started with
In
the book that came out.
Martinsville.
Yeah, close in Victoria, but yeah.
I'm going to also just say that I really will fail to put any stock in something written by a psychiatrist that doesn't understand the principle of you don't shit where you eat.
Yeah.
But sometimes
I
you
agree.
can eat what you shit.
He's given her the Pornhub psychiatric care. Apparently, your big dumb balls just need to be emptied, and then you'll
Oh,
feel
yeah, your
better.
big dumb balls are too full. Can we just take a real quick moment and a moment of silence for all of our lost Pornhub videos? Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah, they took all yours off. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, the Pornhub, in a historic move, removed almost they Thanos snapped almost a quarter of their content away.
Did they say why?
No, they just got rid of all their anyone that wasn't a verified model or a verified channel. So almost all the amateur content's gone, guys. It's gone.
They
Oh,
did
no.
say why. It was to stop, child abuse videos being posted
Okay, well
and
then I won't
revenge porn and
Okay,
the bad
satanic
things.
okay. So when you say it that way,
abuses.
when you say it that
Yeah.
John, did you have a database that you were checking it against?
way, I mean, I have some videos that I like in particular that aren't there anymore.
He's got a written list right next to his computer. He just searches those.
Oh, that one's still there. Nope, that one's gone.
And I'm the serial killer here. But
We have said multiple times that together we are the worst person to exist.
yes, cumulatively, we do make a pretty fucked up Frankenstein.
Yeah. Anywho, well, Courtney, thank you for the context, because now it's not as sad. I guess if I really cared, I could just go to OnlyFans.
And that's secondhand to me. I don't actually care about that sort of thing. That was a secondhand from a Curtis who told me that is why it happened, because
Oh, you don't care about...
John, you've shown enough heart towards sex workers for all of us, I
No.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It's
fair.
a thriving industry, and they deserve to be respected.
I couldn't
sex work
agree
is
more.
real work.
Yes.
That's not
yes.
a joke, kids.
That is something that
Trust
does
me.
reflect the views of the Disinformed podcast.
Anyone who's seen those videos, you can verify it is definitely
Now that we're on
something-
an episode about satanic panic, sex work good, Satan bad.
In 1976, when Pazder was treating Smith for depression, Smith confided in Pazder that she felt she had something important to tell him. And tell him she did. In a later session, Smith purportedly screamed for 25
deeper,
minutes.
daddy.
Daddy's not my daddy.
For 25 minutes non-stop. Oh, God.
You have opened this Pandora's box, my friend. You just need to be prepared for what's flying out of it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. So she screamed for 25 minutes nonstop, and eventually, this gets worse, started speaking in the voice of a small child. So the whole, daddy, that's not my daddy. For the next 14 months, Pazder spent more than 600 hours of using hypnosis to recover repressed memories of Smith being subject to satanic ritual abuse, the phrase which he, Pazder, had coined. According to her now, air quotes, resurfaced memories, Smith remembered that she was abused when she was 5 years old in 1954 and 1955. It was originally her mom that started the abuse, but then it expanded to others, all of whom Smith said were members of a satanic cult in Victoria. The book documents the many satanic rituals Smith was forced to attend and was abused by none other than the Church of Satan.
Except it hadn't been founded yet.
Even though the Church of Satan was established some 10 years after the alleged abuse in 1966. Pazder did later withdraw his assertion that it was the Church of Satan after our friend LeVay threatened to sue him for libel.
Blood libel?
Ooh.
No.
If only.
This is where I will give the trigger warning here for alleged child abuse. I will not go into explicit detail, thankfully, but if the mere mention of alleged abuse of children is too much, it might be best to skip this episode.
I mean, or you could just go watch the movie Session 9 and they'll probably fill you in on all of the left out details here.
Anyway, like I said above, I won't go into too much detail, but during the rituals, Smith was allegedly tortured, locked in cages, sexually assaulted, forced to participate in various rituals, witnessed several human sacrifices, and was rubbed with the blood and body parts of various sacrificed infants and adults.
Okay.
This culminated in a massive 81-day ritual that supposedly summoned Satan himself and involved the intervention of Jesus, the Virgin Mary, and Michael the Archangel.
I'm bullshit on that.
No, that was true.
Oh, even better.
Now, is the ritual, is the goal for the ritual, like the outcome, is that for Chad Kroger's birth?
They actually looked at photographs to try and
Look at this
remember
graph.
these. I wrote some stupid line about making a reference to the Avengers with Jesus, Virgin Mary, and
No,
Michael
go
the
ahead, say
Archangel,
it.
but
Say the joke, Michael.
it was the team up part of the movie where the Avengers get back together to defeat the big bad. Then the good guys then remove the scars received by Smith throughout her year of abuse and block the memory of the event, quote, until the time was right, when she, screamed for 25 minutes and like a small child.
So Robert Down Syndrome Jr. comes down and just protects.
Just like that in the back of Michael's mind also, he's singing, look at this kid I stab. Every time I do, she calls me dad.
We have fun. We make jokes here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the book was pretty popular and earned a couple of fair bit of cash. I don't know why I wrote dosh. It even got Smith a spot. I don't either, okay?
All right.
I was being creative. I don't know why. I won't do that again.
Oof.
It even got Smith a spot on the Oprah Winfrey Show in 1989, where Oprah did not question the veracity of the book at all and merely asked her to recount her experiences. Later works by journalists, especially a Paul Gresco, tried to ascertain such claims made in the book. Talking to Smith's father and her two sisters about Smith's mother, who died in 1964, revealed no truth to any claim. Smith's father went so far as to claim that he could refute all allegations in the book. My favorite one that I wanted to cover involved the 81-day ritual. So the cemetery where much of the rituals took place was surrounded on three sides by residential neighborhoods, for one. Second, none of Smith's hundreds of tormentors were ever found, considering that many of them cut off their middle fingers during the 81-day ritual. So pretty easy to find someone if they can't flip you off. Additionally, checking Smith's school records revealed that she had not missed school during that time, with no remarkable absences and no signs of abuse.
I mean, they were just doing it at night, obviously.
Yeah, I guess. And, if Jesus and the Virgin Mary and Michael the Archangel were showing up every night and just curing her wounds, just hitting the heal button. Several authors believe these false memories came from elements of popular culture at the time. One of our favorite movies, The Exorcist, for example. Pazder's own, that's what it quoted. It said that was like one of the things that was
that
like...
Was that right at the beginning?
So the
late 70s, right?
Yes. So, like, her not necessarily her abuse, but her remembering, air quotes, this abuse.
Okay.
Was likely influenced by the pop culture that was coming out. She recounted the things that came into the book that Pazder writ in the book took over the course of he done writ it over the course of 4 years. Tell you what, the experience that were recorded down in the book happened between 1976 and 1980 when the book was published. So Pazder's own religious beliefs and his experiences in West Africa probably didn't help, given that the area Pazder was in was having its own moral panic about secret, blood-drinking, cannibalistic cults.
And that was part one of your list?
Yes. Well, no. Not, well, I guess, yes, sure. Yes. So, Shane, because of your line of work,
Mm-hmm.
I am sure you know what
Sex work.
I am sure you know what mandatory reporting laws are, right?
Yes, in duty.
Mm-hmm. And I only know that because I have to know about those as a teaching assistant.
What are those?
Yes.
So it's... Oh, you can explain it, Shane.
If anyone imparts to you that they have had someone force themselves upon them, or if they have experienced anything that would be untoward in a professional capacity, if they notify you of these things, you are mandated that you have to report it along to other individuals to be investigated. You can't just keep that in confidence.
Got it.
Yeah. Well, this is when they started. During the early 1980s, there was a massive increase in child protection investigations in America because of these newfangled mandatory reporting laws. With the increase of child protection laws came the increase of public awareness of such issues, of course. Additionally, investigations into incest allegations in California also changed, where the case would be managed by social workers instead of the police. It sounds pretty good, right? Pretty awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
I regret saying this right in the sentence, but I'm saying it. Not gonna stop. Getting people who were better trained to handle such delicate cases as kids getting bumped by real-life Uncle Touchy, rather than cops who were better at dealing with murders and the like.
You know what?
You actually
It sounds-
wrote that
yeah,
down?
I wrote that down.
I'm actually impressed. That was I liked that.
Yeah. It does
Good.
require a bit more of a deft touch.
Yes. Except that wasn't the case at all. See, police were trained to avoid leading questions and coercive interviewing techniques. Whether or not, officers actually do these things, it doesn't matter. They were still trained in the art of avoiding these leading questions, right? Like, they were trained how to interrogate people, Yes. These social workers were not. And it showed, leading to an increase in confessions by fathers in exchange for plea bargains. Because you ask these kids leading questions, you start having them come up with stories, and then what do you know? These kids are accusing fathers and other members and stuff of things that never happened.
So you mean like, where did he touch you on the doll?
Actually, yes. That the next thing I will talk about in a couple of moments, actually, that is where it started from. Furthermore, armed with such books as Michelle Remembers and such people as Lawrence Pastor, who would go on to advise cases in this matter, he would be like an expert witness testimony thing. Some social workers pushed the boundaries, so to speak, and some children protection cases began making allegations of horrific physical and sexual abuse by caregivers within organized rituals, claiming sexual abuse in satanic rituals and the use of satanic symbols. Childhood memories of similar abuse began to appear in the psychotherapy sessions of adults. So, I am going to now end this whole conversation with the longest and most expensive case in American history. The McMartin Preschool Trial. Now, McMartin Preschool was a family-run preschool located in Manhattan Beach, near Los Angeles, operated by the McMartin family. In 1983, Judy Johnson, mother of one of the preschool's young students, which Wikipedia did not name for some reason, reported to the police that her son, who was a preschooler, mind you, had been sodomized by her estranged husband, who was McMartin teacher Ray Buckley. I kept writing Buckley when I typed this up. It's Bucky. So if I say Buckley, no, I'm just being myself and mispronouncing words.
Oh, you'd assume that no matter if you just said it or not.
Exactly. Ray Bucky, grandson of school founder Virginia McMartin and son of administrator Peggy McMartin Bucky. What drove Judy to think her little boy was being molested? Well, he had painful bowel movements. It was hard for him to poop. Sodomy would be my first guess too, especially for a small child. He can't poop. Someone must be wrecking that. I didn't write that last part. I just wanted to throw that part in there.
Damn.
Wait, you didn't write that?
No, I wrote not wreck them, but
Wrecked them.
damn near killed them. But yes, that he had painful bowel movements.
I mean, same, but
Good thing your mom didn't immediately assume that you were getting sodomized.
But he was, though. He's
yeah,
Catholic.
she didn't have to assume. She knew.
Allegedly. He's allegedly Catholic.
Falsely accused.
After the initial accusations, Judy made several additional ones. She said that people at the daycare had sexual encounters with animals and, quote, John will like this quote, Peggy drilled a child under the arms.
Why would I like that?
Because you kept making references to drill sounding. I don't know.
How long is it going to take
I wrote
to
that and I
fix
thought
what
you would be
Quab
funny.
screwed up with you?
I'm calling bullshit on the bestiality there, though.
True.
Oh, for pity's sakes.
And also that Ray Buckley flew in the air.
Well, everyone does when you board a plane.
Ray
Fair
Buckley,
point.
the primary target was I'm sorry?
No, I was saying Shane had a fair point.
Yes. You do fly in the air. Ray Buckley was questioned but not prosecuted due to lack of evidence.
Ooh.
Right? Cut and dry case, right?
Until
the police sent out a form letter to about 200 parents of students at the McMartin school. Do you want me to read to you what they had sent?
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Oh, please do.
September 8th, 1983. Dear parent, this department is conducting a criminal investigation involving child molestation. Ray Bucky, an employee of Virginia McMartin's preschool, which they wrote capital P and then a hyphen between pre and school. It was weird.
Furthermore, completely eliminating due process in one fell swoop.
Yep.
It gets worse. Was arrested September 7th, 1983 by this department. The following procedure is obviously an unpleasant one, but to protect the rights of your children as well as the rights of the accused, already threw that out the window, this inquiry is necessary for a complete investigation. Records indicate that your child has been or is currently a student at the preschool. We are asking your assistance in this continuing investigation. Please question your child to see if he or she has been a witness to any crime or if he or she has been a victim. Our investigation indicates that possible criminal acts include oral sex, fondling of genitals, buttock or chest area, sodomy, possibly committed under the pretense of taking the child's temperature. Not bullshit. That's what it said.
Shane
That's
is
what I tell Jonah too.
Let me take.
Shane is simultaneously upset because this is one of your triggers, if I remember correctly, Shane. And then simultaneously, like, you're triggered, but then you're also just, that's stranger than fiction. To, like,
No, something just occurred to me because I was in the doctor's office, prior to the world going to hell, and the doctor said he was going to check my prostate, and I could feel him doing it. I just didn't know how both of his hands were on my shoulders the whole time. And now it makes so much more sense.
Then he pulled down your pants, and he looked at your penis, and he gave it a little... And and said it was in
That's a usual checkup,
It was
John.
in tip-top shape.
Of course, then he also bit me on the neck for like 10 minutes. So
Well, it's
just don't see Dr. Acula. If you ever have the opportunity, just avoid that.
He was just, you know how they do the reflex tests. He was just making sure that the nerves were working.
Oh, yeah. I got the acid reflex at that. It was bad. It's not good.
Also, photos may have been taken of your children without their clothing. Any information from your child
Hey, real quick.
regarding...
Hold on. We have to give that disclaimer again. We've had to give it a couple times. We're not making fun of this. It's just, it's the only way to get through it. Like,
I mean,
need
I
humor.
make fun of the absurdity of such. This whole thing is just...
I think it's...
It's priming, like, to the P.
I think what I'm
to the
trying
T,
to say
like-
is that we are not making fun of child molestation.
Oh,
Yes.
no. Yeah, you're right.
We're making a lot of bad jokes at inappropriate times. It could be misconstrued that it's because we think that's funny, and that's
No,
not the
we are
case.
attempting to avert our discomfort with, laughter and comedy, and that's the only way out is through for us in this
But
instance.
Courtney seems to be enjoying herself just fine, thinking about what she's going to do to Jonah after this session's done.
That's right. Just getting ideas, making a list.
Checking it
Time
twice.
to take your temperature.
Merry
As a
Christmas,
strap
buddy.
on. Oh, boy.
You'd be surprised
any-
where Cole goes.
I don't want to know.
And
Got a new
how?
diamond.
Woo! Gotta make a diamond.
Got that bling ring, baby. Yeah, and I mean your butt.
Any information from your child regarding having ever ever observed any information from your child regarding having ever observed Ray Bucky leave a classroom alone with a child during any nap period, or if they have ever observed Ray Bucky tie up a child, is important.
Wait. What?
Okay.
Yes, I feel like the person that wrote this memo was projecting in some way. The letter continues by saying to complete the form enclosed with the letter and to keep this whole thing under wraps. It actually said to keep this, like, not necessarily verbatim, but
not Bucky style raps either.
Use your discretion. Please do not spread this around, which I don't think a single parent didn't do.
So almost like asking.
Now we're into...
You're putting it into the ether.
You have another question?
Uh-huh.
Was this like written by an ex-girlfriend of his who was like, he would never do these things with me, and then he was like, clearly he was doing them to these children?
Well, I mean, the original accuser
is his
was
ex-wife, yeah.
Yeah, so that, there you go.
So the book was actually entitled 50 Shades of First Grade, apparently.
Oh.
Ooh.
God damn.
So several hundred children were then interviewed by the Children's Institute International, which was an LA-based abuse therapy clinic. The interviewing techniques, as we previously mentioned, were highly suggestive and even invited children to pretend or to speculate about supposed events.
Were these oral examinations?
Oral exams. By the spring of 1984, it was claimed that over 360 children had been abused. The number did drop substantially over time to only 41 children who testified in the pretrial hearings, and down to less than a dozen during the actual trials.
The initial numbers make you think that he's the Wilt Chamberlain of, kindergarten teachers.
I don't understand the reference, but I think I get the point.
Also, to pour salt on the wound, the initial accuser, Judy, was diagnosed with and hospitalized for acute paranoid schizophrenia, and in 1986 was found dead in her home from complications of chronic alcoholism before the preliminary hearing even concluded. So the person that started this whole mess was diagnosed with and hospitalized for schizophrenia. So,
well, when you drink alcohol,
your brain will deteriorate.
Sorry, I couldn't help it. Once you talked about the drinking,
and now we can use that intro again.
Man, I don't know why people listen to this. We're horrible human beings, and I appreciate that. Okay.
I'm still of the opinion that I'm still of the opinion that people just download it and they forget about it. Like they have it to where it automatically downloads.
I'm pretty certain
Sam.
there's Yes. And there's also two other Phoenix musicians, I'm fairly certain, just listen to this. So, yeah.
I know you want to hear about the bizarre allegations instead of hearing about the actual case, as evidenced by previous episodes where I tried talking about a case. So let me sum up the case, the trial, real quick.
So they went to the boat, and they tried to find the yeoman, and he had a special package he was going to help them take down into the lower ship, but only on the aft side. And then they met another guy who was a tromboner, and he wanted to play their instruments, and he met them on the top side, and then they went to find the captain. The captain's name was Jeb. Jeb had begun working on this cruise ship in 1842. Jeb's mother told him that he liked cream corn because he didn't. I don't know why.
And Jeb's mother's name was Gretchen.
Jeb's mother, Gretchen, was not a tromboner. I don't know.
And that's part one of...
Yeah, tune in next week for part 2 where I talk about his father, because I didn't even mention that.
Michael's
and his father had a very important lineage that goes all the way back to the 1066 when Edward the Conqueror...
conquered the Wang Chung dynasty. Yes, I recall this.
Yes.
This is the Hard Pee-Pee Sabotage, episode 2.
It goes all the way to the top, boys.
To the tip.
To the tip of the top. So no one was found guilty of any of the 321 counts of abuse involving 48 children. However, this verdict was ruled in 1990, a good 7 years after the initial allegations.
Wait, hold on. Say that again?
1990.
Jesus.
a good 7 years after the initial allegations.
They had a lot of briefs to peruse.
5 of those years Ray spent in jail without even being convicted of a crime.
Oh, American due process at work, yes.
It also cost $15 million. The whole court case cost that much, and it led to the school being closed down and dismantled.
Wow.
Yay, justice system! So, now I'll just quickly get into the bizarre allegations, and that'll be it. So, first it was alleged that, in addition to being sexually abused, the children saw witches fly, traveled in a hot air balloon, and were taken through tunnels. None of those were bullshit. I figured Shane was gonna. He looked like you were gonna call it out.
No, I was just thinking of the Wizard of Oz.
Off to see the wizard.
Well, there's witches flying. They got a balloon.
True.
This all starts to make sense. Yeah.
I wonder if they actually showed that movie in like the preschool, like just once or something like that. And it was like, I mean, I can't imagine this. I wouldn't show it to a preschooler.
I mean, this is the 80s we're talking about. I'm sure it was very popular regardless.
True. Additionally, when one child was shown a series of photographs by the McMartin's lawyer, they identified actor Chuck Norris as one of the abusers.
Bullshit.
True. But then he roundhouse kicked them, and so they forgot about it. So, now those secret subterranean tunnels that I mentioned were a major part of these allegations. So much so that several excavations actually took place at that school. And while evidence was found of old buildings on the site and other debris from before the school was built, no evidence of secret chambers or tunnels were found. I think the most recent excavation happened in, I think, 2005. And they actually tried digging underneath concrete slabs that were left over a foundation from the actual school building. And they found, because they did echolocation to see if there was any tunnels or any like open air pockets underneath this concrete. And they found a little place where they believe the connection to the piping system, to the sewer system, they thought that was a tunnel, but it was just a connection to the sewer system.
Why are they investigating this in 2005 when in 1990 the case was decided?
You never know with those Satanists.
And furthermore, they're going to be very, very confused and validated when they find the little colony that's living below the bowling alley.
The mole people.
So,
I caught you. I'm with you.
He got the reference. There were also claims of orgies at car washes and airports.
and also Michael's mom's house.
Which is what I like to do. I mean, when I'm at a car wash, that's the first thing I think of. Is
Hey,
like,
the orgy makes sense in a car wash because that's easy cleanup. You don't have to touch
Exactly.
anything. Surfaces are primed. If you need extra lubricant, you grab a squeegee. This makes perfect sense to me. I don't know why it wouldn't to you.
Especially in those automatic car washes.
I'm sorry, did you say a squeegee for extra lubricant?
Yeah, you just
Yeah, that's how human bodies work, right?
That's
Boobs are just bags of sand, right?
I'm thinking of the ones that they keep next to the gas pumps, etc. That has the little thing on the front, the little
No,
sponge
that's okay. I know
attached
enough about you already.
I feel like
we're good. We
I
can
feel like
move
you
on.
explaining it makes it even more pervasively gross.
Yeah. I mean, it's vertical. You could just cram it in the hole.
Shin's like, then we go over to the vacuums, and let me tell you, it's a good time.
There is a reason that they had to stop putting those little, whirling propellers up inside of those vacuum tubes.
If there's something that you need to understand about Shane, it's that he respects women so much that he would like to lubricate them with recycled dirty car water.
Uh-huh.
So if
That's why I
Shane
have
ever
John-
asks
why I have
to
John
pump your
spit in 'em.
gas, and wipe the windshield.
And I'm Michael.
Yes.
Spit shine. At
What's
the end.
unfortunate is as I get through pumping your gas, I will pull the spout out and just spray all over the back of your car.
Yeah, he had me close my eyes and suck it out of a tube. Don't know what
very
don't know
weird.
what it was, but didn't like it.
You gotta get the gas pump started by sucking on it.
Don't know what it was. I can't poop now, though.
I got some bowel movements.
hurts.
Aren't there signs? Don't siphon gas with your mouth? John?
Well,
I
there
don't.
are now.
He siphons it with his butthole.
No, with my heart.
There are also claims of children being flushed down toilets to secret rooms where they would be abused, then cleaned up and presented back to their parents.
So is that where J.K. Rowling got her inspiration for getting to the Ministry of Magic?
Yeah. How the fuck can you flush a child down the toilet? They'd have
No
no
idea.
bones.
Well, you see, in quantum science and quantum physics, everything is possible.
Quantum toilet mechanics.
Yes, if we liquefy the children first, we can then flush them.
Have you ever seen Star
And,
Trek? It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much all I wanted to say. There was some other things. Honestly, I thought that I was going to go over time with this thing, so it was kind of crazy that we went through it so quickly. There was one other topic that I will probably cover in the future if people are interested. And it's talking about Dungeons and Dragons and the panic that happened then. Because they are very intertwined, and I think that it was the Satanic Panic was a jumping off point for Dungeons and
Got me
Dragons.
intrigued.
Then?
The what?
Then?
Then?
Now.
You said
No.
the panic that happened when Dungeons and Dragons. Do we
Yeah, when it originally came out in the
when there were
late-
dragons?
Yes, and
Imagine
dungeons.
dragons.
All
But
right.
not under that school.
I can see why you own that Aragon video game.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot he actually did.
Yeah.
So-
yeah. I mean I like the game. The movie and the plot were terrible, but it was actually played like a fun game if you ignored the plot.
I love that
I think I
Jeremy
said that too.
Irons. I think
Oh.
you'd make a great Doctor Who.
Oh, he would. So, one, we should probably get through your lives first.
Yes. So, any stabs?
Me.
Except for the children?
Boof.
The description of the blood libel was complete bullshit.
Dang it.
Okay. That was a Shane.
It was
that a Shane line.
incoherent enough that I just... Yeah, I stopped listening. I'm sorry.
That's fair.
And I was waiting for a list, so I just...
I know what you guys look for, and I try not to do that. It was nowhere near as complicated as that. Instead, blood libel is a fabrication that falsely accuses a Jewish person of murdering Christian children or other non-Jewish people in order to use their blood as part of a religious ritual. As anyone that has done even a cursory glance in the Old Testament, this is blatantly forbidden. Animal sacrifice was part of the practice of ancient Judaism, yes, but one of the 10 commandments forbid murder, for fuck's sake. So,
Right.
definitely a fabrication. I mean, like, for under the guise of a religious ritual, right? Like, if it is banned in one way, it shouldn't be allowed literally for the same practice, but that was one lie. The second lie was a lot more subtle. I said that Judy Johnson, famed schizophrenic, had claimed that her son was sodomized by her estranged husband, who was Ray Buckley. That was false. He was sodomized by her estranged husband and Ray Buckley. They were not.
Ooh. They were not
same
one and the
person.
same. Okay.
No. She thought it was two separate individuals who sodomized her kid.
Well, he would definitely have difficulties pooping then.
hmm I had to put that lie in there
Wow.
because I'm like, it gave her so much more justification just to really stick it to the estranged husband. But he was not brought up anywhere after that initial accusation.
Okay.
It just turned into the school instead.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
So
that was harrowing.
yeah. A lot of people whose lives were ruined just because somebody thought that their kid had problems pooping.
Well,
I think
just a lot of panic where the dicks go.
that was very good, Shane. I will not let that one by me. You guys, Shane, I think, has either read or seen Sharp Objects, right? By the same author who wrote Gone Girl.
I can't say
It's
that I have.
Gillian Flynn, but
yeah,
she wrote.
I just don't think I have seen or read the book.
I would
at all.
recommend. I'd recommend that book. But what this whole episode's reminded me of is, I think, it's her first novel called Dark Places. And I think Michael, if you're looking for a book to read, You should probably check that out. Because it follows the Satanic Panic. Like, it's a story set around things that happened during the Satanic Panic, and similar themes of, like, how it kind of just goes to wreck lives. Or went on to wreck lives.
And for those who want to not delve that greedily into the dour, but entertain yourself and scare yourself a little, Session 9 is fantastic, and they do talk a lot about the satanic ritual abuse.
You recommended Session 9 to me more times than I can count, and I still haven't checked it out yet. But
used to be a date movie for me.
That's right.
It's how you ruled out whether someone was going to be queasy hanging out with you if they can't get through the horror fest.
Now, I have a little bit of follow-up on a topic near and dear to our hearts, but I'm not going to tell you what the topic is. I just want to read this email that I received today.
Before you delve into that, though, I have one thing that I do want to point out, which is somewhat fairly appropriate, and all kidding aside from, we do like to joke at Michael pretty routinely, but given the sheer number of volleys that we have had at individuals who are physically abusing children, I think Michael's getting a little stressed out with his living situation, and it's manifesting through our show.
Is this a Jack Torrance kind of thing?
I think this might be the time for us to finally just, have a chat with Michael. Are you okay?
All work and no play make Michael a dull boy.
I saw Michael try to do math at my bar the other night, so I don't think he's doing okay.
Okay.
Was I? Oh, I must have blacked out then.
I hope so. You're getting behind the wheel of a car.
Ooh-wee.
Isn't that the only way you're supposed to drive, is when you have no idea what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any idea of what I'm doing when I'm
Courtney,
sober.
that's how women do it all the time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually close our eyes for fun.
Well, it's how you get through your romantic entanglements as well, so I can sympathize.
It's time to check your temperature. Courtney, I did have to ask, how are you familiar with Michelle Remembers? Because you did say you are familiar with that book.
I've listened to multiple podcasts detailing the events of the Satanic Panic. So I've heard about the memoir. So I was really hoping you were going to lie about that, because that's the part that I actually knew about.
Also,
but yeah, I listen to more podcasts than anybody that I've ever met. It's unhealthy.
I find it
That's
really
fair.
interesting that you can handle gruesome true crime, but yet, like, horror movies, especially like supernatural stalkers and killers and things like that, like, hearing it doesn't bother you, but the visual, that's what really seals it in.
Yeah, no comment.
Well, guys, did you know that Santa's not the only one who's watching? See if any of this sounds familiar. Every year we are told the creepy tale of an old bearded man who watches us all the time, seeing if we are good or bad. He watches us while we're sleeping and while we're awake.
Mm-hmm.
The story of Santa was not always told this way. In fact, the first mentions of Santa watching children appeared in the early 2000s. The first mentions of this were made at the White House Christmas ceremony, when First Lady Laura Bush got on stage and spoke about Santa, mentioning that he's watching Americans all the time. For a moment, consider that this could be a metaphor. For a moment, consider that Laura Bush, a government insider, was trying to send us a message. Santa equals Uncle Sam. Santa is representative of Uncle Sam. Just as Santa is supposedly watching, so is the government. And how are they doing it? Through 12 billion artificially intelligent bird drones hidden in plain sight. We understand you, Laura. We know what you were trying to tell us.
That was not the Christmas story I expected, but that was the Christmas story I needed.
Yeah, got a little update from Birds Aren't Real. Thanks, Becky, for emailing me that, or forwarding me that email.
Thinking of the things that make you feel creeped out in the shower. Santa Claus, a purportedly magical Jew, and then a song popularized by Michael Jackson in the 80s.
I had gotten home from work last night, and I've been, speaking of podcasts, I'm finally like kind of branching out because I'm completing my, let's call it my homework assignment with Dark Tower and the Dark Tower Kingslingers podcast. So now I have downtime, and I'm starting to get back into Last Pod, and they're doing an episode on Adolfo Costanzo, and they're talking a lot about Santeria and black magic, and just some really like just hair raising stuff, like if you're a little superstitious or even just, a tad. So
Or
I'm
stitious.
Yeah, justitious. So I got home from work. I'm like washing up, taking my contacts out, putting my glasses on, and I'm so spooked from some of the things they were talking about that I swear I was like seeing shit like run past underneath the door. Like, you guys ever gotten like true crimed out where you think that you're gonna open the door and just be serial murdered at any point?
No.
Yeah, me either.
You ever see a roof rat run under your entertainment center and run around all night like a crazy person?
I sure do.
And this is a whole like entirely different dismount than I was expecting, because once you said that you had downtime, I thought you were referring to the fact you can't drive yourself to work anymore.
Thanks, Wayne.
What? Wait, what happened?
You got to take the bus, man.
Who's the busman?
No. What happened to your car?
Oh,
He's not allowed to operate it anymore, Michael.
they told me I'm not allowed.
Oh.
Yeah, just like an old person.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't let it come up for air. Apparently.
Yeah, that's how the expression goes. Also,
Yes,
and
indeed.
then this is my last like weird thing. I'm just catching up with you guys at this point. I've been watching a show called How To with John Wilson, which is on HBO, and it's the executive producer. It's like a Nathan Fielder kind of very weird humor.
So sick of you and this Nathan Fielder kick.
I'm on a huge Nathan Fielder kick right now. Nathan For You is only on Hulu for the next 10 days, so I'm trying to rewatch all of it as well. But John Wilson had an episode, and it was how to improve your memory. And I don't know how to get to it. Halfway through the episode,
Obviously it
they
worked.
introduced the Mandela effect.
Ooh.
And he goes to a convention in Ketchum, Idaho, for people that believe in the Mandela effect and want to spread awareness. And I was just having such heavy flashbacks to that topic. And also Becky walked out the office like near the end of it, and she had no idea really what the Mandela effect was. And it's very, very frustrating to try and describe that to somebody that hasn't gotten the setup or like the prep work out of the way. But I thought you guys, I was thinking about you guys the entire time. I thought you would have appreciated it.
I was gonna say, yet again, another opportunity to plug our podcast. And
Well, he would be talking to a brick wall. I don't think she would ever actually attempt to.
Oh no.
listen to the podcast
She
at all.
shows interest by asking how the evening went, but she'll never listen though.
Yeah.
She
well,
shows
I don't
interest
blame
by
her.
not leaving John. So
One would argue that she spends most of her emotional energy not leaving me.
yes.
I leave her
And
nothing
speaking
left.
of emotional energy, after you mentioned Ketchum, all I want to do is listen to Boy Genius now. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome. Well, anyway,
So I have officially tangled with Lord Ishin, and
Ooh.
I'm a little vexed, but Genichiro does not bother me at all now. I got to deal with those 3 phases to finish the game up, and
Nice. I beat Demon Souls.
That
congrats.
that is where I gave up the demon bell, Shane, because I had the demon bell with the added difficulty.
hmm
I couldn't get past Ishin. I even defeated Owl Father, the harder version of Owl, and all that other stuff, and I was really excited, and I'm like, yeah, let's go to it. And then after like 10, 15 deaths, I'm like, I just want to beat this game. I'm done with this. And so I did after 2 attempts. The difficulty spike, like when you have the demon bell on, is ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm never going to
Yes.
do that. I'll
And
break
then
my controller.
Yeah, and then I tried doing the newest update where it was like the reflection of strength or some stupid thing.
Yeah.
Gauntlet where you fight all the bosses. I tried it once.
Is
I
it an
said,
all-in-one?
I beat the game. I'm done. Yes, all the major bosses.
And you don't get a checkpoint? Like, you have to start from boss 1 and you have to make it all the way through, and there's no buffs to help you get through?
No buffs.
Jesus
All
Christ.
the only thing that changes, I think, is that your refreshable items, so like your pellets and stuff, get refreshed after each
Holy
encounter,
shit.
but your drinks do
you
not.
hear that?
Is that the sound of no one giving
No,
a
that's
fuck?
the sound of Asher coming so hard at a masochistic task.
I was gonna ask if you knew whether or not he actually tried that.
I'm sure he has twice.
Okay.
I'm sure that he has.
He only needed 2 times.
Yeah, I'm sure he has like an essay prepped to send me for when I ask. Bless that man. He asked
Wait,
me.
How did you type
noob?
3,000 words?
He asked me
in 2 seconds
over text this week. He's like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a year. Are you a ponytail guy now?" Mind you, also we've done Damn Jams at one. Like he's at least seen a video chat of me once a month for at least 4 months.
You think he's actually looking at something when we're on there? I have a feeling he's just sitting in the corner of a different
He's
room
probably just
and
staring into
crying.
the fucking corner. Yeah. Oh, he probably
Is he
doesn't know how
still-
to use.
is
He
he
probably
still
doesn't
a
know how to
drawn
do the
picture,
rear-facing
or-
camera. So he's probably like thinking that he has to like have his camera pointed like. I can see it.
At the picture, yes.
But I responded.
Thank you for watching as well, Michael, since you obviously know that, yes, he's still putting the picture up.
I responded. I was like, nope. I was like, I went baby face once, and then I, learned the error of my ways, and now I got the beard back, and all's well.
And
I
a
was,
man bun.
Yeah, and I was like, and how about you though? I was like, is your hair down to your ass or what? And he's like, nope, same length. He goes, I just, in so many words, he finished it by saying, I look like the kind of guy that talks to raccoons.
Well,
and it made me think of Mr.
Okay.
Deeds, Steve Buscemi playing Crazy Eyes. So if you've ever seen that,
Man, your pulls sometimes, my friend.
I don't have a good brain. That's been documented.
It's like me if I were just to randomly insert into a conversation. Like, that reminds me of this really cool scene in Ernest Goes to Africa.
I'm
It's,
friends with you. You've done that.
Yes, just not documented for people who are listening to this for entertainment value, but
There's one Mr. Deeds fan out there. It's like, fuck yeah, that's my favorite movie. And then they go kiss their poster that they got when they worked at the movie theater when it came out. 'Cause that's the only reason you'd have a
Yes.
fucking poster is if you got it for free when you worked the premiere.
and the
I feel like you know a person.
It's John.
It's me. No.
Well, I didn't want
Well,
to say
Shane-
that outright, but yeah.
And maybe, I don't know, you probably have context to this too. When I worked at AMC, like legitimately, they'd be like, hey, once we're done with the posters or like the cutouts, like the put-ups, like
Yeah.
it's either throw them away in the trash or you like have to call dibs and take them. So my first apartment I ever had, it was atrocious because I didn't frame anything. I would just like staple the posters to the fucking wall because I was so proud to have a space. And then
Same.
also so proud that like I got free shit. Like people like, oh, that's an Inception poster. I'd be like, yeah, I'm an intellectual. Like
I just picture you saying that like you got tenting over there,
Yeah,
throbbing erection.
got so much pussy by getting that Inception poster.
yeah, I'm sure. No, my first apartment, based on like the Tower Records infusion
I was
of
thinking.
anything that got pulls as well. Yeah, my apartment was basically a teenage boy's bedroom, just thrown up into a giant space. It's bad news, bears.
Speaking of not throwing up, again, Courtney, those cookies were fucking amazing. So thank you for the drop.
Yes, thank you.
It's a weird
Terrible
compliment.
choice of phrase.
I mean, you didn't see the chocolate ones, so I made them look special just for John.
Like poop.
So he finally got someone to brick on him. This is
Yeah, I
good
was gonna
times for
say
all.
The weirdest compliment that I have is that
Ooh-wee.
like I don't know the names of different cookies or whatever, but there were some cookies in there that looked like they were gonna be like crack your teeth tough, and they were like the best, softest, chewiest cookies. And I don't know, you're a good baker, so thank you again.
Oh,
It was a great
thanks.
gift.
So John's food review blog will be up next month for those who
This
want to.
looks like a
Flour.
stone, but it
What's that
actually is
about?
very soft. What's the deal with flour
On
these
episode
days?
1A, we're going to talk about gluten, and then followed by
Oh.
flour and wheat byproducts.
Wow,
John
that's some pretty intense stuff
Will
for the first
gluten
episode.
and gliadin get their own episodes, or will you combine those into one?
I'm glad you asked, Courtney. That's pretty insensitive. We're not supposed to say that out loud anymore.
John's bread is all runny. And also, only the wine that the man drinks is only coming out of sewage treatment plants from this point
Oh.
forward. That's a guarantee.
I mean, all wine is shitty.
How eco-friendly of you, buddy.
that Alabama.
Repurposed water.
Upcycling.
Oh, like what I did with Powerade yesterday.
Yeah, do you want to talk about that before we get out of here? Or
Now I'm interested.
It might
Wow,
be-
You got my
Waterworld.
attention.
You really should be on Instagram. It's where all the good things happen.
He is technically on Instagram. He's just too stupid to
Yes.
know how to use it.
Oh, like my mom. Okay,
I
so
finally did. I reshared like the post that tagged me.
Yeah, I'm
in
so
from
glad that
this,
your 3
yeah.
followers get to see that.
Ooh-wee.
But there's an Instagram account called like guys that can cook or boys who can cook, and they
Sounds pretentious.
had posted a picture of basically pasta cooked in blue Powerade. And so I posted on my Instagram story and I said, "Hey, should I make this for Jonah's dinner?" And then everybody hates Jonah, so yes.
Resounding yes. It was awesome.
100% yes. We had 2 people that voted no. So those are his real friends.
And they don't count.
They're not real.
And so I had posted that before I had done my grocery shopping for the evening. So I was like, I'm just going to buy a bottle of Powerade. I have pasta at home. It's just going to be a joke. And then I got multiple messages of people that like did not believe that I could do that and how horrendous that would be.
That made you mad.
And I committed to the bit because I'm not a quitter. So
There you
I
go.
did in fact boil pasta in Powerade and straight up served that to my husband for dinner.
And what did he say?
The exact quote, 'cause
The fact that you have to open your phone. In
I think
order
it's a
to
good
check
quote.
is just
it's
priceless.
worth,
Yeah.
diving right into what exactly he said. He said 2 out of 5 stars. It's not
right.
the worst thing I've ever eaten. Like, put some whipped cream on it. Something to jazz it up.
Cream.
What is the worst thing you think that your husband's ever eaten?
Ass?
I wasn't even going there.
He was genuinely interested in the story.
It's funny because we were talking about this yesterday and we came to the conclusion that one of the worst meals that we've ever eaten we can't talk about because it's insensitive.
Tanuki scrotum.
Oh,
Why is it insensitive?
very chewy.
Because there's a
Cultural thing?
culture in the food industry where if a certain person opens a certain kind of restaurant and you speak poorly about that certain kind of restaurant, you're a racist and it has nothing to do with the food not being good or the service not being good. And so for that reason, we had a really bad meal, probably number 1 worst meal I've ever had, but we can't talk about it.
So your worst meal got gatekeeped.
Yes.
Gate
And I've
kept?
eaten bugs, so that says a lot.
I've eaten Shane's scrum.
Ooh.
Mm. Still not the
Covered
worst
in
meal.
crickets.
Ugh.
How many stars would you give that out of 5?
6.
Oh,
Wow.
good for you.
Something that
Impressive.
you guys don't acknowledge here is that Shane is a very well kept man.
Mhm.
I believe
And
it.
he gave me a star for every inch.
Yeah.
He
I had to go
has
back.
expressed
I had to go back 2
before.
times, but yeah.
Oh,
He has expressed before that he does keep himself well trimmed.
Yeah.
Because he complained about Manscaped one time.
Yeah, I'm telling
Yes,
you, you can cut yourself with those things. They claim you can't. But when you're rocking like a tanuki down there, I mean, I have to enlist other individuals to help hold it
Well,
and
that's
keep
why-
it taut so that I can get that thing on there. And it's not
Well, that's why
Nick
we
friendly.
discontinued our sponsorship with them.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, but I will say the ball deodorant's fantastic.
Nut odorant. Yeah. It's great.
Yes. You can smell me coming from miles.
But in a good way.
It's not because of what I eat either. I guarantee it. And now, I don't have an end for that bit, so I will just take a small bow.
And I'm Michael.
And I think that should appropriately wrap this up like a package, or a, tanuki case, as it were, for this satanically infused and power-aided edition of the Disinformed podcast. Thank you all for being here. Just on the off chance we haven't completely driven you off yet, in case you weren't aware, we also do some nonsense on the Tubes of You every single week, starting with Wonderful Wednesdays, where we dive into a fan fiction read of the Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miracles currently. Just absolutely marvelous. And then on Fridays, we have sort of a postscript to this show, The Decompression Period, otherwise known as the Disinformed Podcast. You can find both of those Wednesday and Friday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. For all of you who want to have a little more entertainment in your lives. And of course, every Marvelous Monday you can find us here, wherever your preferred podcasts flee from. And so, for my fabulous friends here at the Disinformed podcast, who also would like me to impart, you can avoid us on Instagram by never ever checking at Disinformed Podcast. Or maybe perhaps if you're on Facebook, like your uncle, and you want to just, steer clear of us, that's facebook.com/Disinformed Podcast. And send us a creative tweet over on the Twitters at Disinformed Pod. So, for my friends here, I am Shane.
I'm John.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Courtney.
So long and gute Nacht. Oh, okay, fine. Well, fuck me then, man.